Let's jump in. President-elect Joe Biden has announced his nomination for head of foreign oil acquisition, future Defense Secretary General Lloyd Austin.
Austin faces opposition because a law prohibits retired members of the military from serving as defense secretary for 7 years, unless Congress signs a permission slip for a field trip to conflict of interest land.
Also, he is on the board for weapons manufacturer and friend of the show Raytheon, one of the world's largest weapons makers. Austin was Biden's second choice. The first was an ICBM with a 6 handicap. Honestly, Richard, isn't it a little immature of us to be so caught up on conflicts of interest? What are we, 12? What do you think?
Come on.
Well, conflicts of interest are pretty serious. The defense budget is the biggest in the world, the biggest in human history. So the idea that you have civilian control of the military is something that we have held as part of the American culture for a very long time.
Respectfully, I think that's nonsense. Let's just give this to Biden and let the military run itself. I'm busy. Just send me a push notification when we're going to war.
Or don't. I don't need my phone vibrating every 10 seconds.
I mean, are we forgetting that Biden picked this guy? Hello? I can't believe we're still arguing over this.
That's a good point,
yes.
Teddy. Now, Biden is still looking for a cabinet position for former South Bend mayor and national nephew Pete Buttigieg. Axios reports finding a cabinet position for him has been a challenge. Now, obviously, the sky is the limit for Buttigieg after his experience cooling down the hotheads on the South Bend Chamber of Commerce.
Richard, isn't it a waste to use former Mayor Pete Buttigieg on a national position? Can't we elevate him to some sort of world president role?
Certainly that might be his ambition, if not his qualification. Look, if you're Joe Biden and you're on the older side, you've got an ambitious vice president behind you, you might be looking to make sure that the other pretenders to the throne are as far away as possible. And Beijing is pretty far away.
An excellent point. And to the folks at home, sorry about that. A lost Dianne Feinstein just wandered in front of the camera.
Now, let me throw this out there. We could use an ambassador to chasten Buttigieg. Our nation was on shaky ground with him under Trump, and it's time to course correct.
Sure. I think he could be pivotal in ending our torture program where we drag likable spouses on 2-year quixotic presidential bids.
I wouldn't mind someone with more foreign policy chops for ambassador to chasten. What's John Huntsman up to these days?
Well, I'm sure we could find something else for Pete. I, for one, need help setting up my computer.
Oh, great.
Well,
He'd be great for that.
fantastic.
Whoop, there goes Senator Feinstein again. Now, moving on, it was a sad day for centrists everywhere as Joe Kennedy III delivered farewell remarks after losing his Massachusetts Senate bid. The chamber was nearly empty except for his primary opponent, Ed Markey, seated up in the gallery, eating lobster tails with his butter-drenched hands and chortling like a barbarian king.
Here is what I know. That we are a complicated and messy country. That we violated our founding promises before the ink was dry. We boldly declared, "We the people," and promptly defined we as rich, white, Protestant men.
Impressive words there, likely written by the Pope.
Yep, Kennedy there calling out our country's original institutional exclusion of BIPOC, which translates to Black and Indigenous people, and Catholics.
Yes, it was a bold allusion to the fact that many of the founding fathers owned slaves and did not believe in the transubstantiation of the Eucharist.
Richard, we have a centrist leaving the House and a White House packed with centrists. Is this indicative of the Democratic Party tensions ahead or an isolated case of Massachusetts voters' prejudice against soulless dorks coasting on name recognition?
I think there is a massive battle brewing within the party in terms of expectations of this new administration and the likely disappointments they are going to feel very shortly.
Well, this is a nightmare. If Joe Kennedy III can't make it in Washington, what chance do I have? I'm scum. I'm going to order a big toilet and have my family flush me down it.
You need to calm down, Teddy. It's the last show of the year and you're acting like a lunatic.
Yeah, and there's no toilet that big.
Oh, worst day of my life. First Kennedy, now toilet.
Now, moving on, most Americans saw 2020 as a year to reach out to the millions in need, while a select bunch saw it as an opportunity to make millions of dollars.
Inside the Hill is proud to present the top 5 grifts of 2020.
Coming in at number 5 is Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, senior advisor to Melania Trump. She used her friendship with Melania to score her event planning firm a $26 million contract for Donald Trump's inauguration, then rehabbed her reputation by doing the right thing and using secretly recorded tapes of her best friend Melania to score a deal for her tell-all book, affectionately titled Melania and Me.
If she hadn't done it to Trump's wife, we would all agree she's evil.
Dining alone at number 4, we have the Amy McGrath for Senate campaign, who, during her Senate race against Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, spent over $90 million on a campaign that lost by more than 417,000 votes. Congratulations to her staff, vendors, and all those who rode that racehorse right into a large spike.
Drunkenly stumbling into our number 3 spot is the Lincoln Project. Sure, this is a little personal. We were joined by one of its founders, Rick Wilson, who remains the only guest to tell us to go f yourselves in his head. All right, Rick, we know you have to go hoover up some more Rube cash, so that's all the time we have. Thank you to our analysts and guest Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project. Thanks a lot, Rick.
Thank you so much, Rick.
But you know, it turns out the $44 million they spent didn't change any votes. The most viral of the Lincoln Project's ads turned out to be the least persuasive. At the very least, a bunch of unrepentant Islamophobic warmongers made a lot of money.
Valeting their Tesla in second place is New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. While gravediggers took a second to stretch their achy muscles, Cuomo treated himself to a victory self-suck in the form of a book called American Crisis: Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. Since his publication date, New York State cases and deaths have skyrocketed. That's like wiping your ass halfway through a and releasing a book called My Perfectly Clean Ass. Governor Cuomo is gonna need a refrigerated truck for all that cash.
And violently shoving themselves into first place, our top grift of 2020 goes to the man who puts the win in Twin Towers, Rudy Giuliani.
This sludge-soaked pervert has eroded voters' faith in democracy and stirred violence among Trump voters while taking home legal fees and securing access he will definitely sell. And still finding time to attempt both sex with Borat's underage daughter and negligent homicide.
He is a true inspiration to the next generation of grifters.
And that is our top 5 grifters of 2020.
2020. Man, crazy year, huh?
For sure.
I've seen worse.
In some ways, almost too crazy to put into words.
I guess.
You know, when words fail, I've always found it helpful to turn to the power of song.
Well, moving on. This
And
next
in
story...
a year as crazy as 2020, there's perhaps no better way to sum it up than with an homage to the piano man himself.
Oh,
Please
come
no,
on,
Rich.
Rich.
Hit it, Terrence. Turn me up, Terrence. Turn me up in the microphone, Terrence. Trump impeachment, Leffler stock, threats to banish TikTok, murder, Hornets, Tiger King, Ghislaine Maxwell, jail. R.I.P. to RBG, Meg left royal family, monoliths, vaping kids, DeJoy destroyed the mail.
What? That was really special. Thank you, Rich.
It's gonna keep going.
Oh, it's still going.
Go! Democratic primary, luckily we stopped Bernie, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg left Wall Street feeling good. Joe Kennedy losing, Gov Cuomo nipple ring, Harvey Weinstein in jail, I'd help him if I could. This year was a dumpster fire, but thanks to my money, it was mostly funny. This year was a dumpster fire, but it's totally random, you can't blame the system. No!
Dumpster fire? Really, Rich?
That's everyone's first idea.
You know, I kind of like it.
Rocks, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Borat 2, very nice. Kamala, first woman vice. Nancy ripped up paper and Mr. Peanut died. Gun couple at the RNC, I loved Hillbilly Elegy. Parasite, best picture, McDonald's cop cried. Diane hugging Lindsay, Elon Musk robot baby. Mitch McConnell's hands are dead. Fly landed on Pence's head. Newsom caught at French Laundry. We've gotta stop
AOC, Ivanka, fucking Goya beans. Cardi's got a wet ass bee.
Am I crazy, or did you not mention COVID once?
Guess it slipped my mind. You know, it didn't affect my tax bracket.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
get
understand that.
honestly,
It's
yeah.
relatable.
Moving on, we here at Tuning at the News know that if the last 4 years have proven anything, it's the vital role of journalism. Here now to that most important of missions are just a few of our contributions and a fair share of ribald horseplay.
I love kissing.
I'm making out too.
Ahem. James Woods is my shepherd.
I may have visited, but I never inhaled all those underage sex slaves.
More women who have jailed other women.
I am fresh off the bus from my high-powered job in Washington.
Cardi B, will you marry me?
Everything is working great.
Squawk, I fly real high so I can check on the drone.
I'm going in. Come on, work, damn it.
Tranquilizers are effective against Schumer if you shoot him in the right hair plug.
I have to remove him before he removes me.
You canceled, Bish.
You know, guys, these are troubling times.
Yeah, well,
Here, little buddy. Ow, you f***er.
Robbie Mook's data was right.
If need be, we will eat the horse.
Jesus, who is white, came to me and whispered in my ear, this entire studio is on the back of an 18-wheeler hauling ass there right now.
whee!